The 2022 championship is over, and we've seen yet another disappointment from Ferrari. It's something that we're kinda used to seeing, but this time they had a legitimate shot at hunting down Red Bull and being champions for the first time since 2007. The fact that Raikkonen is the last Ferrari driver to win the Drivers' Championship has to be one of the most hurtful facts for Ferrari fans, and we have some bad news too. It's unlikely that your team will win anything in the near future. If you want to know why, stick around with us to find out more. Before we go deep into the dark future that lies ahead of Ferrari, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video and turn on the notifications from our channel. Let's go with a little bit of history and why Ferrari failed to win championships from 2007 onwards. It's not that they weren't close. Alonso was very close to becoming a three-time world champion in 2010. But at the last race, he was just not able to get past the Renault of Petrov, even though he was constantly being motivated by his team on the team radio. Even if he did pass Petrov, he needed to finish at least fourth, with Vettel winning in order to win the championship. The fact that he finished P6 behind drivers like Petrov and Kubica only go to show that Alonso didn't quite deserve the championship at that time and was far away from Vettel's pace. Alonso was close yet again to win the 2012 championship, as he missed out on it by 3 points. This time he did manage to finish ahead of Vettel in P2, but the overall season just went to be in the Germans' favour, and Alonso had to satisfy with yet another close call for the championship. When Vettel came into Ferrari, everybody thought that he'll continue his championship winning streak from Red Bull. True, he faced the dominance of the Mercedes cars, because the Brackley-based team was just dominating the entirety of the turbo-hybrid era, and the competition was nowhere to be found. However, we did see some large mess-ups from Ferrari in 2017 and 2018, the years when Vettel was the closest to winning the Drivers' Championship and becoming the 5-time champion in F1. Although many think that Vettel was the main reason why Ferrari didn't win the Drivers' Championship in both 2017 and 2018, with the German finishing as a runner-up to Hamilton, it was the reliability issues of the Italian team that saw Vettel missing out on this perfect opportunity. Many can remember the reliability issues of Ferrari in Malaysia in 2017, but we must be honest and say that Vettel's mistake in Singapore at lap 1 and the road rage in Baku, where Hamilton brake tested him, did their own thing to the championship too. But it seems like Ferrari learned nothing from its mistakes, and we were often witnesses of how Vettel called for his own shots and had to change his own strategy mid-race. That is something that science is currently doing in Ferrari, and that is something that Leclerc hasn't done frequently because he trusted his team blindly to take the right decision. So what is the issue with Ferrari and why are they not going to win anything in the near future? Continue watching to find out more, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you agree that Ferrari are nowhere near winning championships in the future. Let's start with the most obvious fact, and that is Verstappen's dominance. If we're being frankly honest, Leclerc, the driver that Ferrari appointed to be the #1 guy in the team, is nowhere near Verstappen in terms of driving. True, he has the talent and he has the speed, but he lacks the self-confidence and the maneuvers that Verstappen does. In 2021, we've seen Verstappen going toe-to-toe with Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, and he hasn't flinched a single bit. Can you say that for Leclerc? Well, he literally crashed and spun twice this season under pressure. Let's remember the Imola GP, where he desperately chased Verstappen ahead, and while he was preparing to make an overtake on Perez, he spun and lost additional 4 points. The French GP isn't something different either. While Verstappen was in the pit stop, Leclerc had to make a great time on the old tyres and then enter the pits. While doing so, he spun and crashed into the barriers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Verstappen hasn't done mistakes like this, where he spun and crashed under pressure. He was to blame on multiple occasions for crashing with the opponents, like in Monza 2021, where he literally launched his car over Hamilton's head, but he never flinched under pressure and always performed perfectly well. This season, Verstappen did spin in Barcelona in the gravel, but he managed to recover pretty nicely, something that Leclerc just isn't able to do as smoothly as the Dutchman. Leclerc did have his dummy moments in the previous seasons too. For example, we remember how he crashed in Baku in 2019 at the Castle sector, saying to the radio, "I am stupid."
I am stupid. I am stupid.
Last year in Silverstone, we've seen Leclerc literally flinching and going away from the track at corpse at the moment he saw Hamilton was very close to him. It's something inside of him that lacks confidence, that lacks this dominating mentality, the alpha male mindset. We've mentioned earlier in this video that Leclerc blindly trusts his team. Is this the wrong thing? Well, if you're a Ferrari fan, then yeah, it definitely is. We've seen the Maranello team being clowned for its decisions to put hard tyres in Hungary when they had the data that everybody else is struggling on these tyres. We've seen them failing the double stack in Monaco right after Leclerc was called in for the Inters, and Sainz denied the call because he wanted to go straight to the hard compound tyre from the full wets. You could argue that Sainz has a better mentality than Leclerc and is a guy that can determine the on-track situation much better than the Monegasque. He has proven that on multiple occasions this season, and in Silverstone, he denied a tactic ordered by his team that would have seen him and Leclerc losing places further on the grid. But he also made mistakes frequently, as we remember how he spun out in Australia this season. In Silverstone, when Verstappen was closing in on Sainz for the P1 spot, the Spaniard made a mistake and went wide, therefore opening the door to the Dutchman. That seems to run in his head and Leclerc's veins, as the Monegasque also went wide in Suzuka in 2022, then closed the door non-properly to Perez, resulting in a 5-second penalty and Verstappen winning the championship. Now, these are the flaws of the drivers, but what about the team? It surely wasn't Sainz's fault that the mechanics forgot his right rear tyre in the garage and had to wait 13 seconds in the pit stop in order to have his tyres changed, right? It surely wasn't Leclerc's fault that the turbocharger just decided to blow up when he was leading the race in Baku and Barcelona. And it sure wasn't Sainz's fault that his car has given up on itself in Austria and Baku too. Red Bull did have reliability issues too at the beginning of the season, but they managed to get on top of them, and by the masterclass driving of Verstappen, they dominated the entirety of the 2022 season. At one point, Verstappen was even close to being passed by Perez for the championship fight, but the Dutchman has been able to adapt much better to the upgrades on the RB18 compared to the Mexican. And that is something that makes him a generational talent. We aren't necessarily saying that Leclerc or Sainz won't have a chance to fight for championships anywhere soon, but let's face it, they do have some flaws, which, combined with the team's tactics and reliability issues, are far away from a championship-winning team. I can see Russell winning his first championship ahead of Leclerc, and the fact that the Monegasque has to currently fight to fend off the P2 spot in the Drivers' Championship, which is currently held by Perez, says enough about where Ferrari is in the moment. When Red Bull brought constant and small upgrades to their car, Ferrari waited and brought huge packages to certain circuits like Barcelona, Singapore, Monza, etc. And it's just the entire philosophy around the team that is holding them back from a championship-winning season. We've seen Verstappen winning races by starting P14, P10 and P7 this season. Leclerc hasn't been able to win a race even though he started P1 on a vast number of circuits this season. Until the 2026 season, there is an engine freeze in place, meaning that the F1 teams will have to work with what they have in their hands as of now when it comes to engine performance. Ferrari's engine has proven to be one of the fastest, if not the fastest one on the circuit. However, problems like reliability, driver's confidence, team tactics and leadership are something that will hold back Ferrari for a long time to come, especially now when drivers like Verstappen are dominating the league and drivers like Russell are trying to prove themselves to be made out of championship material. Do you think that Ferrari won't win anything in the near future? Let us know in the comments below.